The Mango Power E weighs 100.1 pounds and is 17.8 by 13.6 by 19.4 inches. It has a working temperature range between 14 and 113 degrees while charging, and a range between 4 and 113 degrees while it's in use. It comes with a 5-year warranty and meets U.S. and international safety and EMI standards. It has a quick charge option where you can charge from 0 to 80% in 1 hour or a full recharge in an hour and a half. It has a low decibel rating while in use, certified at the level of IP21. The Mango Power E is expandable up to 7,066 watt hours of capacity, which can also expand the power to 6,000 watts. It is plug and play ready with no complex installation required. It has a microinverter system for stable performance, and it's built for outdoor use with an IP68 waterproof rating. It has app monitoring and real-time tracking if you are into that sort of thing, but I personally prefer the hands-on approach. It is designed for continuous residential use. The battery capacity is 3,533 watt hours and has the world's best CATL LFP cell chemistry. The battery lifespan has a capacity retention of 70% after 6,000 cycles, which is nearly double the competitors. It comes with overvoltage protection, overload protection, over temperature protection, short circuit protection, and low temperature protection, as well as low voltage protection and over current protection. It can be charged via a normal wall outlet, solar, an EV charger, or a generator. The AC charging maxes out at 3,000 watts and the solar maxes out at 2,000 watts. Another important thing about prepping is gardening. Now, using a power supply like the Mango Power E can make gardening a lot easier. I previously did a video where I redid this whole thing using a Mango product, and now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side of the yard. Another thing that I do is I don't spend much money on my garden. Almost everything I get is free or nearly free, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be planting over here. But first, we're going to use the Mango to make some mulch. What I have here is a Peruvian apple cactus that it's not a cutling because it had already fallen off of the main cactus, and it was laying down in a back alley about 12 inches tall. Now it's about 2.5, 3 feet tall. So I'm gonna plant that in its permanent spot here. And then I've got 4 watermelons, because watermelons are like 10 bucks at the store now, which is crazy. And those seeds were free because I used those seeds from a watermelon that I grew last year using non-GMO seeds. But first, let's go ahead and get to the mulch making over here. I've got the Mango in the shade. It is rated up to 114 degrees. It's going to be 105 today. I'm just putting it in the shade as a precaution. No need to be reckless. And let's get some mulch going. I added some wood ash and got it. Now the thing is just to till it into the soil. The Mango Power E will turn a 2-hour job into a 15-minute job. And for my next party trick, I will show you exactly how I set up my house during a power outage. When it comes to the display and the front of the unit, the display is a touchscreen style LCD display that is easy to read and it's easy to use. It has tons of colors. It's got 16 output ports with 4 20 amp AC ports, 6 QC 3.0 ports at 24 watts. There's one USB-C port at 65 watts and one PD port at the 100 watts. The car power output is 12 volts 10 amps and there are two 12 volt 5 amp DC 5521 ports. There's also a 30 amp AC RV port. When it comes to the app and smart control, it has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connection and an app remote control. It has an OTA available upgrade and customized backup power mode, eco mode, and time-based control mode. It also has smart notifications, smart energy and carbon footprint report, and smart measurement. Okay, so the power has gone out. So what do you do? For me, the very first thing I do is fill my bathtub, and then I don't do anything, just like everybody else, for at least 4 to 6 hours, because I don't need to do anything for 4 to 6 hours. The food in the fridge is gonna stay cold. The house is gonna stay well maintained. So I don't do anything. Then after the 4 hours, I'm probably gonna pull out my generator, power supply, and I'm gonna go to town. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start charging my batteries because they power my touch lights. I'm gonna plug in my radio because my radio is one of those ones that you charge. It doesn't have batteries. I also am going to be charging my extra cell phone batteries, which I am charging right now, and I'll show you how. It's in a different room, but it is charging via here. I'm gonna use the AC and the DC. I'm gonna do everything in the backup mode, or it is the backup mode, I believe, because that has pass-through generation. I'm gonna plug in the power supply to the plug so that when if the power does come back on, it'll start charging immediately. And then if that doesn't happen within 4 or 5 days, I'm gonna start, probably 1 or 2 days, I'm gonna pull out the solar panels and I'm gonna go to town on those two. I'm gonna plug in all 600 to 1,000 watts that I've got. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. The red cord goes to the refrigerator. It holds 15 amps. Then the other red cord goes to the air conditioner. It is literally 105 degrees out today. If necessary, I'm going to be using a propane stove because I wouldn't be able to use my regular stove. And when that finally runs out, I will pull out my electric burners and use those. So we've got the fridge running on the Mango, no problems whatsoever. Same as the freezer, and this is not an efficient refrigerator at all. I have been running all this stuff for, I think, 3 hours now, and it's only gone down by 8%. So, and also as a power saver, before you have your solar set up, and if it's a short-term power outage, or a long-term power outage, let's assume that it's gonna be a long time and you run out of food in your fridge, then I'm gonna take my little mini fridge and use that instead just to conserve power. So we're gonna follow the cords. The white cord comes over here and it powers my entire TV system, the fan. What's the temperature indoors? Indoors, it's 26% humidity and 80 degrees in here right now. I do have the air conditioner on in the bedroom. I'm gonna close off my guest room. And if it were wintertime, which it definitely is not right now, I would be able to turn on the heater right there. No problem. So I have the option right now. I have a antenna and I get about 13 channels on the antenna, or I have the option of watching movies on my DVD player if the internet is down. If the internet is not down, I can watch whatever I want. And then we've got the cord back behind there is a surge power protector that has six different slots. It's doing right now the TV, DVD player, the heater, the fan, and it is also doing this light right here, which it is daytime and I don't need the light right now. But that is a strategically placed lamp because when it's on, I don't have to use my porch light and I can see perfectly well using the light of the lamp through the window if I need to get to my keys or whatnot. Then we're gonna follow the other cord. The other cord goes here under the bed, and then it goes, for starters, it goes directly to the AC, which is on. I know you all can hear that. And these little nightstands are really cool because on the back of them, it has a plug for AC and DC, as well as like cell phones and stuff like that. So I actually am charging this backup battery right here, which is connected to the nightstand, and the nightstand is connected to the lamp, and the AC, sorry, the AC is directly into the plug. And then that is going into the 15 amp cord is what it's going into. So in here, if necessary, I've got air conditioning and lighting in 105-degree temperature. Hi, I'm really dirty and muddy. Good to see you all. And that is how I run the power when the power goes out. Great thing about living in California, unlike Arizona, is that when it hits 105 here, it actually cools down at night into the 50s and 60s. So you can open your windows, you can open your doors, and you can get that cool air in here, and you're not gonna die like I almost did in Arizona. So if things were to be long-term, I would switch out the refrigerator, and also I would take these cords that came with the generator, and I would attach those to as many solar panels as I could muster, and I would go to town and everything would be a-okay. I might also plug in, after a certain amount of time, I might plug in my CB to get even more news, along with my national weather radio. And that, my friends, is how I go off-grid. I almost forgot, you can't go without coffee. So I would plug in the microwave or the coffee maker only as needed, because you only need the microwave for a couple minutes and you only need the coffee maker for a couple minutes. But there's no way I'm going without my iced coffee in a blackout. That's just not gonna happen. And I might even take some of these cups and make some nice iced coffee for my neighbors. What do you think about that? Now let's take a minute and talk about the benefits of having a power supply like the Mango E on hand. For starters, there is the safety. Power goes out sometimes. It can be as simple as a windstorm where power is going to be available within a few days, all the way up to hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes that are going to knock out power for weeks at a time. Where I live, we had scheduled blackouts during heat waves, which sucks, and during windstorms. During a heat wave, things can become extremely uncomfortable, but fortunately, this thing will power an AC for several hours. How many times have we had to throw away food because an outage lasted too long or longer than expected? With food prices being the way that they are, I don't want anyone to have to go through that. There's also the comfort factor. For those of us that like to go camping or to go tailgating, go to small parties, these things come in very handy. You can turn on a TV in the bed of your truck and you can watch TV with an antenna or toss in a DVD and watch a movie. If you have kids, this can be a really great thing to have on hand, not only to entertain them if the power is out, it can just be to have good family time. There is also the financial benefit of having one. Of course, there is an upfront cost, just like with anything that you're going to buy. But as you all know, electricity prices have climbed more than 50%. 50% overall in the last couple of years. Our rates are through the roof, and I live in the most expensive part of the country where it comes to electricity at 42 cents per kilowatt hour, and that is at the cheapest. When you have a power supply like this, and if you are able to recharge it with solar panels, then you can really, really reduce your electricity use on the grid. A power supply is not going to do you any good just by putting it into a closet like it's a pair of shoes. Use it and it will pay for itself in reduced electricity bills several times over. Last but not least is the mental health. It may seem silly, but many people suffer from real anxiety and real stress. Having a power supply on hand greatly reduces stress, knowing that if you can't pay your electric bill or if the power goes out, you are not going to be stressed out like everyone else on your block. You have the power you need, and it's not just for emergency backup, but enough to get through every single day, almost as though the power is not out to begin with.